the way the system, and the reason why I didn't even like the Hollywood system, is the way that they're making movies is like paint by numbers to a certain extent. Checking boxes, figuring out this advertisement, we get this plus this equals this. It's like, that's not how you make a good movie. How you make a good movie is have an auteur who's got a vision, who wants to go out there with people that want to work with them and make something special where you're not having someone tell you yes or no over your shoulder. Let the artists do their work. And that's what happened with Obsession. And I think that we need more of that. And so I love playing in the micro-budget independent world because I'm a control freak. And I don't have to have someone, I don't need permission to go make a movie with Burt. We can just get $7,000, go do it, have some fun, make it the best thing we can make. So in that regard, I'm optimistic. People don't want AI. Authenticity is coming back. Authenticity, mark my words, authenticity is making a comeback.
So you two were in the LA Film Festival in 2013 with a film called Four Dogs. How long were you working together prior to making that feature? So how did you two meet and start making movies together?
Do you want me to go first?
I can talk.
Talking to the mic. Go ahead.
So Joe and I, Four Dogs is a movie that we made about. You all right there? Four Dogs is a movie that we made that's about my aunt. It was about me living with my aunt, and she's such an amazing person in real life. And Joe and I have always liked working with real people and act, mixing real people and actors. And so, but before that, Joe and I actually grew up in Ohio together. And my brother and him were best friends.
I've known Oliver since he's been in diapers for real, so it's been a minute.
And he made my actual bar mitzvah video when I was 13 years old, which actually honestly inspired me to even be an actor, because I was like, oh, everyone would like watch this and be like, oh my God, they would laugh at everything I did. So I was like, oh, maybe I could be an actor, And I didn't know, growing up in Toledo, Ohio, you don't really think about that. And Joe was already he was the kid that was making 1,000 movies. And so once I moved out to LA, he was a bit older than me, and I reached out to him for advice. And we started making stuff. We just started making short films, and then we made Four Dogs. And
go
ahead.
Let me just quickly add to this, because so Four Dogs. Four Dogs playing world premiering at the LA Film Festival in 2013 was really, really big for us. But Oliver moved to LA. Kind of a cool story. He moved to LA. He dropped out of Arizona State. He did one semester in college, and he says, "This is not for me." And he told his parents, "I'm dropping out, and I'm going to go do comedy." And they freaked out, of course. But he moved to LA, and his first audition was for a Warner Brothers movie called Project X. And he books the lead role that Todd Phillips produced. First audition in his life. It's one of those crazy
Cinderella
stories.
story.
So he shoots Project X for Warner Brothers, but they delay the movie for 1 year to come out. So in that 1 year window, I go, okay, before you're famous and your life changes forever, let's make this little movie with your aunt, because he's living with his aunt in Encino. So he shot this little personal movie with his Aunt Becca in between shooting Project X and its release. And it captured this moment, and it world premiered at LA Film Festival.
Even before that, we were making, like in that year, we were making all kinds of stuff. We did short films and web series. I was really determined, because, when I remember doing this movie, Project X, I was like, I didn't really have any experience. And like, I remember being on the first day of that movie, this big movie, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I had to fake it till I make it, And so in that year, I was like, Joe, I want to make as much stuff as I possibly can to almost find what I was into, or what find my voice, or find something, or fun. Try different stuff. Yeah. And so that was our year of really film school for me. And then, we made Four Dogs. That was kind of tapping into this other side of me that I knew Project X wasn't going to do. And it was a cool movie, and it was, really an amazing experience. And the LA Film Festival was incredible, and you guys really did an amazing job, and it was awesome.
You're welcome. It was all me. So cut to 2026 and Burt.
Yeah.
What was the inspiration for Burt? How did
cut
you
to
meet
feature number 2 a decade and a half
Burt
later?
Burger.
Yes. Okay. So Burt Burger, beautiful person, beautiful soul. I met Burt. We met him separately. He was playing at a restaurant out near Malibu called The Old Place in Agoura Hills on the weekends. Guitar, brunch spot on the weekends. I would go there 15 years ago. I started seeing this guy hey, my name is Burt Burger. He's playing big music. And I was like, oh my God, this guy's incredible. Beautiful music, beautiful soul. We didn't become friends. We didn't even really know each other for many years. I just would go and eat breakfast there and watch this guy play music, and he'd come to our table. Oliver met him separately at like open mics around town when he was doing stand-up comedy back in the day. So cut to a few years after that, we both realized we knew this guy, Burt Burger. We went there to have breakfast one day, and we're like, you know Burt? I know Burt. And like we were like, oh man, he's so interesting. We should put him in one of our short films sometime or something. So that was like the kernel. And then like 2 years later, his Aunt Becca, same aunt from the feature Four Dogs, got diagnosed again with cancer and went through chemo. She's doing okay now, but she went through chemo, lost all her hair. And in that little window of going through chemo, we said, hey, Becca, do you want to make a short film to kind of do something with this experience? And so we made a little movie called Another Cancer Movie, which is a heartfelt, dark comedy about two bozos trying to make a very serious Oscar short film with their aunt who really has cancer. Like, anyways, it all takes place on the film's shoot. Yeah. And we needed someone to play the boom operator, boom guy of the short. And so we're like, what about that guy Burt from the restaurant? So we drove to Malibu the next day, said, hey, you don't really know us, but can we talk to you in the parking lot? Yeah, what's up, guys? We're like, we got this short film. We'll pay you $100. Come to the house next week. I'll be there. I'm there. That's my Burt impression. And so he shows up. He's incredible in the short. One day shoot. So funny. Such a great guy off camera. Such a great, funny guy on camera. And then like 5 years after that, every like 6 months, he would come to my apartment, and I really got to know him. He'd come over, play his music for me, tell me his life story. He's like, you want to smoke some pot? I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to smoke some pot. Tells me his whole life story, tells me about his mother that passed and left him some inheritance money, which became part of the... And then we went to his actual house eventually a few years later and met Steve, his real roommate. The washer and dryer sitting in the living room. I swear to God, we go to the house, the washer and dryer's in the living room, and then we just wrote it, we wrote it into the script. Steve's like, is this going to be a problem? We're like, nah, Steve, leave it there. We'll just write it into the movie.
We had also talked about so many other variations of this movie, like, other ways we could do. We had talked about, like, I was going to play Burt's manager of his band, like. Different versions over the 4 or 5 years. We had kept talking about this idea, like, well, we got to do something with this guy. We got to do something with this guy, a feature with him. And for me, Joe had his own thing where he was like meeting with him monthly and telling his life story. And for me, I was like, what really got me was going to Burt's house and seeing, and he had told me, he's like, you got to meet this guy's roommate. He's like, he's out of this world. And I was like, he's telling me stories like, yeah, I got to meet him. And so when I finally went over there, I was listening. I just like a fly on the wall, just kind of like all you guys are when you're watching this movie. That's really what the movie was. And I was so blown away by their dynamic, the kind of like sweet, salty mix, but also the heart that was there between these guys, that you were like, you can't make this up. You can't. I was like, Joe, I can't even write this guy. I don't even know how to write Steve's dialogue. I was like, we can't write this dialogue. And so he was just so interesting, and their dynamic was so interesting. And then we went back like a couple weeks later and did a little test shoot.
Yeah. I'll stop real quick. Yeah. So before we actually like pulled the trigger to make the movie, we did one test shoot with Steve and Burt to make sure it would work. Yeah. And that's when we realized, oh, Steve is not just an interesting guy. He's actually a great actor, and you can tell in the movie. He really understands acting. Even on set, he took direction very well, but he kept saying, he's like, you're really making the Steve guy a real asshole. And Bert's like, yeah, okay, Steve, like this isn't really you. I mean, the first time we met Steve, he literally tells us the story. He goes, I know Bert's wasting my water in the shower. I keep telling him 5 minutes of running water. That's it. That was the real story. Then we're like, that's going in the script,
Also all the stuff with like, don't touch the walls or don't touch the table, and like,
the oven.
Yeah, it's kind of what he does. If you went to his house, if any of you came to his house, you'd almost get a version of this opening of this movie, And
does he? If I went over there, would he do the tour for real?
100%. The tour was how we. I mean, we were like, we got to put the tour in there. I mean, that was
the tour. Yeah, I just watched over and over again, just the tour.
Yeah, that's really what you get.
The garden, yeah.
And Steve's a talker. I mean, honestly, he doesn't stop about like he'll tell you story, and he's so smart. He's like, brilliant. He's actually one of the most like brilliant people I've ever been around. Like you're like having a conversation where you're like, yeah, I'm like he's on a different level than me.
He's a Renaissance guy. He knows something about everything.
Yeah.
We won't ramble all night, but yes.
So I noticed when you were doing, Burt has Parkinson's. Yeah. I saw on Instagram like another screening or something else that you were doing that was raising money for Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that and then also talk about how Burt is doing now?
Yeah. we've done some stuff with PCLA, which is a foundation here in Los Angeles. It's really great. They help. There's the big Michael J. Fox foundations that do stuff nationally, but PCLA really is here in Los Angeles. That helps people who locally have Parkinson's. They're in need. So we've done screenings for them specifically. Like we did a Q&A, or I think you had something else that day, but I did a Q&A at a screening that was for only people that had Parkinson's and we're different Parkinson's artists, and it was incredible. It was actually a really profound screening to be a part of. But we've also donated a portion of our screenings that we've done across the country to PCLA, and we are also donating to PCLA and possibly a few other Parkinson's foundations with the release. The initial release of the movie digitally coming out June 16th. So
I feel like when I was watching it again the other day, I was like, I think this is the only feature that I've ever seen with a main character that has Parkinson's for real.
For real, yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of directors wouldn't want to do it because they would be afraid of the audience being upset at having to watch. And it's not like I forgot that he had Parkinson's, but it wasn't hard to watch him.
I appreciate it. Also, I know am I the only one sweating or are y'all warm? Is that okay? Good. As long as you guys are good. So I'm a sweater. We talked about that. I sweat very easily.
I am too. Don't worry.
So I wanted to make it. So I fell in love with this guy, Burt. I really was like, the world needs to know this man. He moved to LA in 1974 to pursue music. Never made it. Never had the career he was looking for, but doing his thing. And as we were trying to make bigger movies and get bigger films going and blah, 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 pitching TV shows, nothing would go. Nothing would happen. Close, but no cigar, all that stuff. We're like, what about Burt? Let's just make this thing with Burt. Let's just make it. And he eventually called and said, I got $7,000. Can we do it for $7,000? And I said, let's do it. So we shot the movie in 7 days for $7,000. 3-person crew, tiny micro. And I edited the film myself, like very, very small. But the reason why we did it so quickly, like the reason I said yes to that is because he was diagnosed with Parkinson's. Not in the initial idea. I wanted to make a movie Burt before he even got diagnosed. But then he was diagnosed, and my dad was also diagnosed. They're the exact same age, and they were diagnosed basically at the same time. And a little backstory. My dad moved to LA during early COVID, retired from Ohio, moved out here, was living with my sister. She moves to Phoenix. My dad's living alone. He's got Parkinson's. I'm in Studio City of 8 years, having my own cool apartment with vintage furniture, the whole thing. And my dad's like, do you want to come live with me and save some money and try to make your next movie? Because I was trying to make my next movie. And I was like, no, Dad, I'm 38 years old. I'm not going to come live with my dad. And then like 2 weeks later, I sold all my furniture and lived with my dad. And it was in that time of living with my dad that year and helping him out with Parkinson's, we shot this movie. And it was just this really interesting timing. And I don't know. I'm not even sure what it really means. And then, go ahead.
Something that's interesting to me about the Parkinson's part of it, obviously the personal...
Jen's point too of not just letting it be part of his character.
Yeah. So it was like, it wasn't something that, even though Joe's dad has it and Burt has it, and we want to honor Parkinson's, and I think people that have Parkinson's or know people that have Parkinson's have been really inspired by the film, which is why we're donating to the foundations. But I think the movie doesn't it's not really about Parkinson's. It's about the guy happens to have Parkinson's, and it doesn't define him, which is what I actually really most love about it. And it's like Burt, his spirit is the same whether he had Parkinson's or not. He's the kind of guy that just won't let anything beat him. And I think that's something we can all take away for our own lives, and it really inspired me and Joe, and that's kind of why we made the movie. So yeah.
So I think you said Burt has had to leave LA now,
sorry,
and got he's in assisted living in another state now.
He's living in Virginia Beach near his family, which so he was with Steve for like 12 years. He recently, in the last year, moved to Virginia Beach to be near his brother. He was living with his brother for a little bit, and then they put him in assisted living home, which is probably for the best because he's now getting the proper medication. I mean, Burt's a very stubborn guy and never wanted to, didn't think his Parkinson's was that bad, didn't think he needed to take his medication, whatever. And, Parkinson's is something you got to take. You really got to be on it with your medication.
100%. But I talked to him the other day. So Burt is like, he's living there. He's got a girlfriend. They screened the movie at the facility. He's a movie star. He's doing fine. He's like, hey man, this is great. I'm so excited. I'm calling him, letting him know what's going on. Burt and I have this thing. Every time we talk, we're like, man, it's just crazy that our lives cross. Like I was at a place where my first feature, again, 4 Dogs, that's 2013. I was in my 20s. Now I'm in my 40s. This is my second feature. It took me a little time to figure out my life a little bit. But our paths cross, and the most emotional story, and I can even get a little emotional even still telling a story. He says at the campfire, someday, Sammy, everyone's going to know my music. Someday you'll see. And it was Burt's optimism. And this is not him playing an act. He, even with the Parkinson's, was talking like that, just being like such a dreamer. And it was his, and you could laugh it off or you could shrug your shoulders, but like it's the fact that he never gave up on this dream that now this movie exists. And now this movie is his legacy, where people actually, when the movie comes out in 2 weeks from tomorrow, it releases everywhere 2 weeks from tomorrow, people will hear their music. People will get to know who Burt is. And it's this really weird full circle thing where if he ever gave up his dream, this movie doesn't happen. This movie only happens when he's 69 years old.
Yeah.
Because he never gave up. And it gives me chills almost thinking about the reverse engineering of it all and how he manifested it.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, and also, another part of the story is that the two of you guys didn't give up because as you were telling me outside in the lobby, this film has quite a story in terms of your effort to get it out into the world.
That's a heavy breath.
Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Sure, I was gonna call you Burt.
Yeah,
Joe and Oliver also participated in one of our education events. Was it a month ago?
Yeah,
or
a few months ago.
Called this series that we're doing called Nano Wave, and for Microbudget filmmaking, and I think that was recorded.
You can watch it online
by John, and is online if you want to see more details. I don't know if you talked about.
We talked about it for like
this.
an hour. All this, yeah, a lot of good stuff.
But I just wondered if you want to say something about your journey of getting this film out into the world.
So I'll give you the quick short, if I can be short. We shot the movie in 7 days for $7,000. I edited the film. We raised money, finishing funds. We finished the movie. We do the final sound mix at the end of that year. So we shoot in March, December of 2023. 5/1 sound mix. We're done. We're going to premiere in 2024, and 2024 is going to be our year of film festivals. And then it's 28 rejections in a row all year long. Every festival around the world that we submitted to said no to this movie, and I couldn't figure out why. I was heartbroken. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. And so we're sitting there for a year, and I was just like, I'm talking to my family in Ohio. Like, do I go back to Ohio and live in my mom's basement to figure out my life? Like, I'm not saying Burt's the best movie in the world, but it's like, it's my blood, sweat, and tears. If this movie can't get a yes at a single film festival, maybe the industry's changed so much that I don't belong in it anymore. That's what I really felt like. Because I felt like back in the 2013, like we could have taken the LA Film Festival. Like, I just felt like it was a different time. I don't know. Something changed. And so, whatever. It is what it is. 2025 rolled around, and we finally got into our first film festival at CineQuest, March of 2025. We won Best Comedy Feature. 2 weeks later, we won Best Picture at Phoenix, and then 2 weeks after that, we won the Special Jury Award at Florida. So, like, I don't know what shifted, but those first 3 film festivals of 2025, and then Katie Walsh wrote an article in the LA Times about Burt, his life, his legacy, us making this movie for $7,000, and that article opened up we did a whole theatrical tour across the country from Alaska to Maine and everything in between. We traveled with this movie for the last 12 months, doing our own roadside tour, selling our own tickets, and it just sort of took off. Right. And now we're doing our own self-distribution release in 2 weeks. We're with Film Hub. They're a great company, but they give us the opportunity to kind of self-distribute. We still own the movie. We do all the legwork. We do all the PR. We do all the press. We do everything we can do and try to get this little movie out there. I think to your point, Jen, everything's so saturated right now. There's so, and it's not necessarily a bad thing, but like there's so many people who are making movies. There's so much going on. There's so much noise. There's that social I was like, is there even an avenue for a little black and white movie about a singer-songwriter with Parkinson's that we make for $7,000? Is there even like a spot for this now in 2025, 2026? We found the spot. Thank God. And Film Independent even tonight giving us the spotlight. Like we found it, but like it took us a really hard year of rejection to like not give up, to your point. And it's all meant to be. It's all meant to be.
Well, I'm glad that it was and that we got to show it tonight. Yeah. So it's you said that it is getting a wider distribution.
Yeah, we're on June 16th.
Yeah,
okay.
Apple TV, Fandango, all the you can basically rent it.
Oh, so buy and rent on every platform.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are gonna find it and love it.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping. It'll find its way, and it's just like Burt, just the real guy. Like he'll find a way to get out there.
What about the two of you? Are you guys working on anything together at the moment? Anybody that you've met that you'd like to turn into a
I don't know. Maybe
feature
tonight.
film?
Maybe tonight we'll find.
I'm
something.
available.
It is funny. Oliver and I do like to kind of mix real people and actors for sure. It's sort of become our thing.
I mean,
Not actors.
Joe and I will definitely do something. I mean, at some point, it's just I think finding it took us 10 years to do this next one. It just has to feel, yeah, we're not, this has been, for Joe especially, like, it's been such a labor of love, and I mean, the guy's doing, I can't take as much credit for this. He's our PR guy. He's our director. He's our writer. He's our editor. He's doing every job on this film. And like, so if I don't even know how you'd have time to,
I don't. Right. I mean, the short answer is this: we're going to release June 20. So this is, I just saw it. June 16th is the big release day. I'm going to push it as much as I can for a month till about August 1st. That's when our TVOD kind of ends, and then we go to AVOD and SVOD probably. So about 5 weeks of like just try to get as many people. We're teaming up with Parkinson's organizations. We're doing news interviews. We're doing everything we can. Yeah. And then August 1st, after a 3-year journey, Jen, of like Burt, I gotta let this movie go. And that's a big thing that as filmmakers we know, letting a project go. It's bittersweet. I feel like I've given it my all, and I think hopefully come August 1st, that's my personal deadline because I'm going on vacation with my family. I'm like, I need to get some sleep and relax.
Yeah.
I'm going to come back, and I'm really excited to make another movie. I think that, now that we have Burt, like, it feels like, I've been doing this for a very long time. I went to AFI for grad school in my 20s. I've been making movies in Ohio when I was a kid, Chicago for film school and undergrad. I've been doing this for a long time, trying to get a career. I'm taking the bus to work right now, living in a studio apartment. Like, that's all good. It's fine. But, like, I feel like Burt is just, like, such a special movie that maybe now I've got some attention where it's like, okay, I want to make more special movies. And I just need people. You need people to support that. Like, as a filmmaker, you need support.
Yeah.
And you need financiers, and you need actors who want to work with you and all that stuff. But hopefully this one really helps us get there. Yeah.
Can I ask, are you guys both able to make a living doing your art, or are you guys kind of have to do a mix of doing your art and doing a day job? Or
So for me, and I
Oliver is, I'm not. That's the short answer.
No, but mine's different. Like for me, the art of making Burt and doing this, like, I don't make a living doing this. This is like this. I mean, hopefully, maybe you talk to us in a couple months and say, actually, we are making a living if we can pay off what we've put into this movie, and Joe and I can walk away with something that's maybe if it did really well, we could do that. That's the goal with this movie. But for me, my day job, which is not a bad day job, is that I act for, in other people's projects, and a lot of independent and a lot of TV and film and wherever I can work and wherever they commercials. And that's how I make my living, and I've been fortunate enough to do that for the last 14 years. But it's tough. That's harder than it's ever been. Like, as an actor, it's so hard.
A lot of self-tapes.
Oh, God.
Self-tapes. It's but also one of the tough things about being an actor, I don't know how many people are actors here, but it's, you do something for, a lot of people, let's say you were in any job for 15 years, you feel like, 15 years I've been doing that, I'm pretty good at this by now. And then but as an actor, you feel like that inside. You're like, I know how to audition. I know how to show up on set. I know how to learn my lines. I know how to do a good job. But you feel like you're starting over. You feel like you're like walking into like your first day in a career that you have never done before, because that's how you're almost treated in the industry. It almost doesn't matter what your credits are and things like that to a certain extent. So.
That's Oliver's way of saying he's a working actor, which is great. I teach film school. I've been an associate film professor for the last 12 years at New York Film Academy in Burbank. I left the industry after 4 Dogs. I actually went through this whole thing where I turned 30 and got really not upset. I got tired. I got over Hollywood. I don't know. There's something about Hollywood. I left my agent, left my manager, went to the film school and started teaching. I'm like, I had to get back to my roots. There's something about, at least at the time, where I didn't like the way Hollywood operated. I didn't know what to expect. I just came out of grad school and I just didn't like it. And so I just left it. And I'm still in LA, but I left my agent, left my manager, and just started teaching film school. I've been teaching for 12 years. I absolutely love teaching film. I'm super passionate about it. And it's made me a better filmmaker. And by teaching film, I was able to kind of get myself back to a place where we could go out and make Burt the way we did with such a bare bones crew.
This is a deeper sort of question about the industry. But I'm just wondering what the two of you feel about films being made, at the things that are going on, in the industry. People are very kind of like doomsday about it. There's been a lot of layoffs.
Sure.
There's the whole AI of it all.
Yep.
There's the whole merger of Paramount and Warner's of it all.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering what you feel the future of films like Burt may be.
Well, I'll go first and then I'll give it to Oliver. Last year I was really pessimistic. Lately I've been more optimistic, and I'll tell you why. One, for independent filmmaking, I do, and this is, if you're an independent filmmaker and you don't want to hear this, I'm sorry, but I think that the future of independent filmmaking is micro-budget. And I say that because it gives you the opportunity to go out and do what you want to do, and hopefully if we can kind of prove a successful journey with the self-distribution happening, and we can make some money in the back end, then there you go. You make a movie that's really special, that you're really proud of, that you do on your own, kind of very bare bones. You do self-distribution, and you try to get enough people to know about it, support it, and then there you go. You don't need Hollywood anymore to a certain extent. That also said, this has been an awesome couple of weeks as we've all been following the movies of Obsession and Backrooms, right? There's a real, I'll talk about Obsession specifically, Curry Barker's film. I'm a big fan of it. Curry's brother, Riley, was a student of mine at the film school. I know some of the guys that worked on the crew. Under $1 million movie. These guys made a movie that is just dominating the box office. And the reason why it's dominating, besides the fact that they're getting good marketing and everything, is just the movie's good. And these young filmmakers made a good movie. And people came out of their houses to go watch a good movie multiple times. I've seen it twice in theaters. That inspires me. I think we're back to a certain extent. Movies are not dead. Here's the problem I have, and I'll stop ranting, but one last thing. The way the system, and the reason why I didn't even like the Hollywood system, is the way that they're making movies is like paint by numbers to a certain extent. Checking boxes, figuring out this, advertisement, we get this plus this equals this. It's like, that's not how you make a good movie. How you make a good movie is have an auteur who's got a vision, who wants to go out there with people that want to work with them and make something special where you're not having someone tell you yes or no over your shoulder. Let the artists do their work. And that's what happened with Obsession. And I think that we need more of that. And so I love playing in the micro-budget independent world because I'm a control freak. And I don't have to have someone, I don't need permission to go make a movie with Burt. We can just get $7,000, go do it, have some fun, make it the best thing we can make. So in that regard, I'm optimistic. People don't want AI. Authenticity is coming back. Authenticity, mark my words. Authenticity is making a comeback. I really believe that. Yes, thumbs up. All right.
I think the AI gets listen. I don't know. I'm scared of AI in certain ways, but not just to do with the film industry, but just in general. But I also, at the same time, I think technology is always changing. The entertainment industry is always changing. I mean, probably in the 1950s, the TV came along and they thought that was the end of the movies. So it's like, I think movies are going to be around. There's still going to be people making great movies. And to Joe's point, now you can make a movie that maybe in 1990 cost $30 million to make. Today, you can make that movie for $500,000 and it will look just as good because the technology has gotten there. And if you can edit like Joe, you don't even need to. I mean, the Curry Barker, who did Obsession, edited himself. Yeah. I mean, that's what saves you a ton of money. I mean, you don't, and I mean, really with Burt, we had, I mean, you see this movie, and it's not the biggest movie in the world, obviously, but I don't think you guys would think, oh, we made this for $7,000, and that's because we had really talented people working on the movie, and there wasn't a lot of them. We had, 2 crew, but yeah, I mean, so you don't need a lot today, which I think benefits us as artists. And YouTube, look. You put your stuff out. I've even talked to Joe. I was like, look, if our movie doesn't do well, even in the self-distribution model where we get it out, where we're getting it on, getting a lot of sales, put it on YouTube. Like, just get people to see your film, and like you can do that now, and enough people see your film, you're gonna get another opportunity, and someone's gonna go to you. And I think you can use AI as well. Like,
there's actually been a couple of horror films that did release on YouTube first, right? And then someone picked it up and put it in the theaters. Was it like Skinamarink or something like?
And even I'll go back to Curry Burke. I mean, his last movie, Milk and Syrup. Yeah. Anyways. I'm optimistic, actually, and this is like a new thing for me because last year was a really dark year.
I'll tell a story.
I'm optimistic.
I'll tell a good story.
Make it a short, good story.
This is a short story. This actually is a really good story because it shows you the way people think and how drastic people can be. When I moved to Los Angeles in 2010 I wanted to be a stand-up comedian, and I was like, that's what I was doing. I was going to the open mics and doing that Comedy Store and all that stuff. And I remember I was 19 years old, and I go to the Comedy Store, and this guy works at the Comedy Store. If you work at the door, that was a big deal. It's like David Letterman used to work the door, and all the comedians are door guys there. And the guy's like, hey, man, you missed the comedy wave, the stand-up comedy wave. It's over. It was like 1990 or whatever he was saying. I don't remember if he says the 80s or the 90s. He was like, it's over. It's dead. It's like, you're wasting your time here. And he couldn't have been more wrong. Look at what stand-up comedy has become. There couldn't have been a better time to get into stand-up comedy than when I got into stand-up comedy. Like,
That's
literally.
crazy. Who was that guy?
I don't remember the guy's name, but point is, like, in so many, I've seen so many, friends or people that I know, whether that's in the comedy space or or just whatever, they're putting their stuff out on YouTube and they're getting their own fans and they're getting their own, they're building up their own careers. They're not even having to go get the agent in Hollywood to say, "Come on, kid, I'm gonna give you a break." Like, it's a different industry, and it always does this. Like, the 1950s and 1930s actors and directors were different than it was a different experience then as it is now. And I think it's always changing, and I think it's always so difficult. If I look back on 2014, 2015, when I was an actor doing TV shows, it's like everyone's like, it's so much TV out there. But I knew tons of actors who weren't working then, who were complaining then. I mean, it's like I think it's always an excuse to be, it's so hard right now. And I know that it actually is hard, and it's been tough for me too as an actor. But you gotta like find a way to believe in yourself and kind of look past the hardships and the consolidation of the industry and just go, look, it's always tough. They're always trying to push you out, and you got to find a way. That's kind of the way I think of it.
Well, thanks you guys for your very thoughtful answer. Yeah, of course.
Sorry, just guys, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. June 16th is our big day. If you want to tell friends or go to our website, burtthemovie.com, the trailer's there, and you can sign up for the newsletter. We're raising money for Parkinson's through mid-July. Yeah, thank you, Jen.
Through the first month, we're going to be giving a portion of the proceeds to PCLA. So if you pre-order the movie on Apple right now, that would be awesome. Or if you know somebody who wants to, that'd be awesome.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Guys, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.